Hello,
Hello,
everybody.
Sava, Aloha.
¿Cómo estás?
Oh man. I was gonna say something else. Oh no. No, it
What?
was gonna be so funny too. Oh well, I forgot it. I'll remember later. Is it?
Mm-hmm. Damn
Key
right
theme
it is.
song. Okay, just Thomas, insert the theme song here.
Is this the theme song?
No. He's gonna put it in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. He'll put it in right here, and it'll probably be like boo 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 health potion, like a sick guitar riff, just like right here, just like that really awesome Power Rangers one that got like really high pitched, and then it's just like has back to back like an explosion and like a T-Rex riding on like a surfboard with a rocket launcher, and it's gonna be awesome.
A T-Rex riding on a surfboard with a rocket launcher.
Mhm.
Huh. That's an interesting. That's an interesting image to picture.
Because he's got to get the health potion to save his daughter.
Well, how would he pick up that rocket launcher if he has those really tiny arms?
See, well, the thing is it's like strapped to his shoulder, but like he's got a little
Oh,
tiny
it's
button device,
one of
like where
those.
he can just like kind of like close his tiny little hands, and it fires the rocket launcher.
A handy-capable rocket launcher.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right.
Makes
That's a
more sense than
first.
anything Bungie's doing with Destiny currently.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So, um, the House of Wolves came out recently, and I recently was able to get online again. So I'm like, let's check this out. I mean, I got it for free. So I got that edition. Um, it's not worth the money, to be honest.
No, that's
The
what I
only thing they've
assumed.
added is a new, like, air quote social area where you don't even get to talk to the queen or anything. You just gotta have a couple of quest vendors and look like you're
Wait,
in
wait,
like a
wait, wait,
dock.
wait, wait. Wait, wait, wait. You don't even talk to the queen?
Nope.
What? She's
They.
like in every trailer.
Mhm.
Her voice
Mhm.
is in every trailer,
Mhm.
and you don't even talk to the queen.
Nope. They just basically when you
Wow.
go to the new social area, it's like, hey, you can do this now. It gives you this long like opening
Wow.
cinematic where it's like we let them join us, but now they've turned against us, and they will pay for it. Open the reef to the Guardians who we hate so much, and have them kill it for us. And I'm like, oh, that really seemed to make sense.
Cool.
But
I wonder if
okay.
she's gonna explain it to us further. And she's not even in the game.
No, you just basically get to a
What?
dock, and there's some kind of
What?
like commander scout that
Oh
basically just
my
issues you
god.
quest missions, and then there's like a like another fallen house that still works for the queen, and there's like this quest giver there, and basically he's just like gives you reputation for their new arena challenge mode called the Prison of Elders, where there's like a level 28, which is the only one you can matchmake, by the way. If you want to do 30, 32, 34, or 35, you gotta do it with friends, which blows. And each of
Like
those
you
are just
have to.
honestly the only good thing I've actually seen about this DLC, because it's not an expansion, was the
Mhm.
Prison of Elders, which is pretty much just like they, they drop you into this place. You work with two other people, and pretty much you get sent into rooms, and you have to like survive 3 waves of enemies. But sometimes there's special things where it's like defuse a bomb or destroy a spike mine,
Defuse a
or
bomb.
or kill a priority target or something like that. And then there's like boss rounds. So I mean, it's actually like fairly challenging at times and fun. So honestly, it's the only cool thing, but it's not worth the price in my opinion.
No, that
Um,
I find that insulting that
yeah,
they've called both of these quote unquote expansions.
nah.
It's ridiculous. That
Oh,
like even the Taken King, like as against purchasing that as I am, I'm like at least that is adding I guess. I
no,
guess.
it's not. It's
I guess.
not. It actually
It
isn't.
kind of is. Kind of.
It's actually not.
Kind of.
Um,
Because you're getting like more subclasses and a new I
you
guess.
okay?
But
So the thing is in the Taken King, you're getting subclasses they were supposed to introduce in the House of Wolves, but decided to push it back for the Taken King.
Oh, that's right.
There's subclass that technically we should have already had access to, because there's a slot for it the whole damn time. It's not like they were just like, okay, everyone's been wondering what this third slot is supposed to have been since it released last year.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that in the base game.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, well, maybe you'll unlock it when you get like further leveled up, and it's like, nope, they just didn't put it in the game yet. So
cut it out, sell it to us later.
So, well, I mean, I can talk about Taken King in a second, but for the House of Wolves, okay, so the story quest I want to say is better than the Dark Below one. This one's a little bit better. Basically, you're supposed to be tracking down this guy named Skolas that's trying to he believes he's some fallen like warlord of destiny or something like that. So he's going to go and gather up all of the other factions and take them over, and then sort of like try and wipe everyone else out. And basically, what you're doing is just getting in his way the whole time. And it was better than the last one. This one actually like felt a little entertaining. It's just kind of lackluster when you actually find him and you kick his ass really fast. But I mean, the thing is like when you stop it, I mean, you finally get to go into the King's Watch, which is apparently the House of Kings, another fallen house that they just magically let you get access to for this one. There's a couple of other houses or whatever. Okay, so there's this one part on Venus. If you go to, oh crap, I'm trying to remember. It's like, I can't remember exactly where it's called, but it's where there's like this giant like ramp that you can run over, and there's like 2 minotaurs at the end, and if you jump up through this passageway, there's like a beam that looks like it's shooting up. Yeah, you can actually use that beam now. So all these stuff were just in place, just waiting to be activated, pretty much, in my opinion. The coolest thing that happens actually in the story quest is he goes and he starts trying to get stuff from the Vex, and he steals some of their technology, and he starts basically using the time portals that the Vex use to basically jump all of his soldiers that died during some kind of war with the Fallen and bring them before all that happened to fight you. But the thing is you basically like destroy all of them, and then you kick his ass, and then they just are like, okay, we're going to toss him in the Prison of Elders now. And then the really weird thing is when you actually, to unlock the Prison of Elders, you have to finish the story mode. And then it's just apparently, like the thing is the bosses actually in it are like reskins of other bosses in the game. Like there's like a reskin of Crota. There's like a Gate Lord. There's like a giant like Sepix Prime.
Again.
Yeah. Because
again, fucking the Dark Below, they're doing this shit again.
Yep. And then apparently there's some stuff. There's like one new thing that looks a little bit different. I think it's like a Vex. No, it was a Vex Gate Lord. Yeah, no. So it's basically like the same thing, just reskin with different abilities. And then get this, you in the story mission, you can basically single-handedly kick this Skolas Fallen's ass. But then when you do the only way to actually fight him again in the Prison of Elders is to do level 35, which apparently is really, really challenging when you get to it. And which is not only bolt BS that you can basically one-shot him in the story mode, but you need a whole team of people to do it in like the Prison of Elders. But apparently, you don't even get decent loot rewards for it. And it just blows my mind.
Surprise.
And and they've kind of introduced new things where it's like there's like Prison of Elders gear, where when you do level 32 Prison of Elders, you can get something called an Armor Core. You can redo it several times, and you can kind of pick up different loot things, because whenever you make it through the rounds, you drop through the floor, and there's like 2 small chests and a big thing called a Queen's Chest. If you do like the weekly Queen's Quest, you can get these keys. You can use the key to open the chest, and it can give you some stuff. Like I got like 2 Monte Carlos and stuff like that. So I mean, like whatever. And so and there's some exotic bounties you can grab that way too. And like I'm working on like an exotic shotgun bounty right now. But that is apparently like a long-range shotgun that does like pulse rifle type stuff, which is just bullshit. Which I'll move on to that a little bit later when I talk about the PvP that got completely broken somewhere along the way while I wasn't playing it. And so basically you can take that armor core. If you do like level 34, you get a weapon core, and you can trade those with the fallen rep at the Queen's to like get basically a piece of gear that is already maxed leveled out, like armor wise and light level wise. It's just basically you just have to put experience into it to like unlock its perks. So it's a better way to like get high level gear, and it'll help you rank up really fast, because basically it raised the cap from 32 to 34, and literally within like 2 days my guy was already 34, which is just silly. And it wasn't even because I found gear. It's because when you complete the level 34 Prison of Elders, you get something called an etheric light. And what this etheric light does is basically any piece of non-exotic gear, so all the legendary gear, anything else, like whether it's weapons, like old raid weapons, new raid weapons. Well, there's not any new raid weapons because there wasn't a raid in this. Or basically any other type of gear that you have, you can use that light to ascend it to light level 42. And so technically you can use any gear or weapon that you want in the game and level it up, which, I mean, sounds cool by concept, but the thing is when I'm playing your game and I basically get to your cap level really fast just because I just do your thing twice with two characters, or like I do like basically play through the level 34 two of my characters, and suddenly when my character's level 34, it's not like I collected new gear, it's not like I put a lot of extra effort in, I just basically got to be level 34 for no reason, which really pisses me off, because I feel like the whole point of adding content is you're supposed to get new gear that levels you up. You shouldn't just be able to just take your old gear and just pump the level up on it, because that kind of defeats the purpose of having new gear in the first place, because especially when all of the new gear and weapons actually kind of sucks in comparison to the older ones. Like, of course, no one's going to spend the effort to like try and grind the new ones out. Which brings me to something else you can do with the armor and weapon core is if you have one of each, you can actually trade those in with also that vendor guy, and you get a random chance at getting like a weapon or armor or something like that. But that's beyond the point. Now, the other thing that they've added was...
Before you continue, I have a few questions related to this new thing. Because I've heard from coworkers every time that they ask me, oh, you need to come back to Destiny, I go, yeah, but I still don't like, is the RNG loot still in there? And every time I bring this point up, everyone goes, oh, no, they've changed so much about the game. It's a completely different game now. I'm going, okay, sure.
I want some of whatever they're smoking.
But I'm like, so what I want to ask you is, have they made, because I've heard this, not only just from them, I've heard that they've made changes, the random loot, which I hate that it's still random. Have they made any changes to it? Have they actually made any changes? Like, anything that would make me go, yeah, this is completely different from what it was initially?
Not honestly from what I've noticed. I mean, I went back and I've done some of the Nightfalls, which are just basically really easy to do now, and you can kind of solo them if you want, since you're like 2 levels above them. There is, because they didn't even raise the level of the Nightfalls or add in any actually like extra strikes to this, because to like kind of compensate for the level. And
there isn't an extra strike, really?
No, literally the only thing they added with House of Wolves was the Prison of Elders, a handful of story missions, and the Trials of Osiris.
Yeah.
Which is the Trials of Osiris is their PvP thing, where it's basically PvP, and how it works is basically the goal is to down the enemy team, to down all 3 of the enemy team, and then you win the round. Or if you just happen to have killed more of them and you wait a specific point, which I think is BS, when the timer hits a certain level, there's just going to be like this checkpoint that pops up where if you jump on it, you automatically win the round, which I think is just bullshit. There is so the whole thing with that is you have to win 5 rounds, and then you basically get a win on this scorecard. Where like before you even go in, you have to buy something called like a trials passage or trials passage.
How much is that?
It's just 100. It's just 100 glimmer. So thankfully that's really cheap.
One of the few things.
And there's a couple of things. Well, basically, when you have your card, you see there's 8 circles, 8 gold circles, and 3 red circles. And then you see some things from the vendor where he's like, well, it says if you have this many wins, you can buy this, and you can get rewards and stuff like that. And then sometimes he'll have a piece of gear, like he had these really cool boots I wasn't able to get. It's like, just have 5 overall wins in this, and you can buy these boots, which I never got to do, which sucks. Because I had decent stats on them. But, and then there's these thing called, like, boons or whatever, and one's like, well, buy this, and you'll automatically start with 1 win on your scorecard. Buy this one, and if you win your match, it'll count for that your next match will count as 2 wins instead of just 1. And then another one is forgives one loss, because the thing is if you win 8 of them, awesome. But if you go flawless and you just go straight without losing, they give you access to a special social area on Mercury where they don't even add the planet. They just give you like a link to it apparently on the screen. And the way
Mercury still in the game.
Nope. I mean, they have like one PvP map, and they have other references to Mercury, but they didn't even add it. I think they might be adding Jupiter, because when I was working on these story missions, these things were popping up at the bottom, and like with like these quest rewards, and they're like, I think it's supposed to be telling the story, and they're like, and then they wanted to try to move to Mercury, but they weren't able to do it yet, or something like, or not Mercury, but Jupiter. So I don't know. I think they might be trying to add Jupiter into the next game. But or the Taken King.
The next game, yeah, Destiny 2.
But the thing is so yeah, and I was like, okay, this shouldn't be too bad. Every single time I went in there, when I legitimately got some friends to play with, every time we lost, the other team was basically were getting their like 9th or 8th win or whatever. It constantly paired us against teams that were well organized and had already won several matches. And so I thought that was like a fault of the matchmaking. I thought that was pretty terrible.
Yeah, that's not fair.
And then, which brings me to the issue of PvP, is, you remember Thorn?
No.
So, it's an exotic gun. It's like one of these bounties you can kind of get if you do certain quests.
That's right.
And stuff, if you do the bounties and stuff.
That's stupid.
Basically, they've buffed the gun in a way where it has stupid range, like stupid decent range, and it has a perk where it's basically the last round in the clip does bonus damage, and the gun also does poison damage. So the thing is, I've been in PvP, and like several times now, I'll actually kill the other guy, and then I'll duck behind a corner to try and heal, but I'm still taking poison damage for like 3 seconds, and then I just die. So they get a kill they shouldn't have earned. And there's like a ton of people running around with these thorns getting basically unearned kills.
Well, I don't... In the defense of that, I mean, that is a perk that I don't think the... Because I've heard, aren't there 2 modes in Destiny now where one of them, it's like, it's the PvP, but without any of the weapon upgrades, it's just the basic weapon stuff? And then there's one where it's all the weapon upgrades are on, and you get to have all the extra damage and extra void.
Well, no. Even in regular PvP, you'll take the poison damage and die from it, even if you've killed the other guy.
See, that I don't like.
No, yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Like, and when I've gone to like talk about it, like a lot of people talk about it on the forums, they're just like, oh, well, just don't get hit by it. And it's like, what do you mean just don't get hit by it?
Just be like, hey, whoa.
Because the thing
go
is,
there, right?
like,
Like,
as opposed
go ahead,
to
dude.
any other, like, so many people will say, well, it's an exotic. I mean, it's supposed to have, like,
Go ahead.
exotic abilities. And I'm like, no other gun will kill your enemy after you're already dead.
Yeah.
That's an unearned kill, in my
That's some
opinion.
Plants vs. Zombies shit, where
Yeah.
at least I'm gonna say it, I think Garden Warfare is a much better example of what an online community should be. And this is coming
Yeah.
from a budget game from fucking Electronic Arts, and it's much better than Destiny, which is
Yeah.
sad.
And apparently something else that popped up is these long-range shotguns that showed up in a couple of these Iron Banners or something. So literally, you'll be at like a like mid-range on someone shooting at them, and then they'll just fire their gun, and you just die. And there's been so many times where I've stood in front of someone, and I've had my shotgun, I fired it, they fired theirs, and they don't die, but I die. Also, they've been having some issues with like these like people manipulating their connections, internet connections, to get wins. Because I was in just regular PvP, and this guy ran around a corner, and I started shotgunning him, and I'm like, okay, why is he not dead? And then suddenly my guy falls over dead, and then he basically rubber bands back about 4 feet, and I'm like, what the hell?
Wait, say that again? You cut out a little bit.
So there was a guy running around a corner. I shot him with a shotgun a couple times, which he should have been dead. And then not only does he not die, but my character falls over dead from like one random hit from something, and then his character rubber bands back about 40 feet. So it was like he was manipulating the connection of his internet so he could get kills, and people can't really shoot him.
So it's kind of the same situation where it was the first raid from House of Wolves. Well, not House of Wolves, from Dark Below. Where
Pretty much.
Basically where you had to turn off your... I don't remember specifically what it was, but it was something where you manipulated the internet connection, and it was an easy win against that final boss in the raid.
Yeah, they fixed that, but I mean, it was still BS that was even a thing for as long as it was. But yeah, no, but the thing is so if you go basically flawless on this thing, they'll give you access to this place called the Lighthouse, and they'll give you a piece of gear or something like that. And some of the new Trials of Osiris gear actually does look pretty cool. And I mean, they've added in a couple of exotics to the game. Nothing really crazy, but I mean, it's not actually an expansion. It's just sort of like just some DLC that you can just kind of do.
Overpriced DLC.
Yeah, and so this actually moved, because like, actually, how much was that season pass?
$35.
$35. You got one raid, a couple of strikes. Let's see.
Gear.
You got some new gear, exotics. You got the Trials of Osiris, the PvP thing.
Got the hub.
You got
social hub.
which is just silly that it even exists because it's a waste of space.
I heard it's the same thing as the tower, except
it pretty much is, except it doesn't have all of the other stuff.
So it doesn't have the soccer ball or the...
I mean, the only thing that it has, I mean, it has like a mail person, it has a bank, and it has a like
a post office and stuff like that.
Like a decryptor or whatever,
and
that's about it. But I mean, you can't get access to the Iron Banner, people. You can't do the other stuff. But I mean, that's whatever. But anyway,
so it has its own Cryptarch.
Yeah, who basically shits on the other Cryptarch.
Is he as big of an asshole as the last one in the tower?
He's kind of a pompous twit, because he's like, oh, I'll show you how real Crypt-talking works. And I'm like, sure you will, buddy. Sure you will.
See, I just don't get this whole thing. See, I swore I would never talk about Destiny again from any kind of anything, because I'm just sick to death of saying the same thing over and over again. But I swear to God, just that whole idea of them were in the base game, if they had never updated it, if this had come out around the PlayStation 2 era, you would have this concept of where you could get a legendary engram and then trade it in, and you get a green item for it. I don't fucking get what asshole at Bungie or Activision decided
Thought that was okay.
to keep that in the game. What asshole does something like that?
Yeah, and the thing is the only reason why they've changed anything at all, is very minimal in my opinion, is because people have complained enough, and it's and I mean that's about it. But the thing is like with that $35 pass, I mean, like I said, like between basically all the content between both things, you get basically that arena mode, you get like basically a challenge PvP mode, you got one raid, a handful of exotics, some new PvP maps, and some story missions. And I mean it's pretty much it. You don't get new areas. We didn't get a new planet or anything like that. So let me explain to you what's supposed to be.
So is the story actually like quote unquote story? Is this like story in the House of Wolves actually something noteworthy?
It has no relevance to the rest of the plot. It's just basically one rant, like basically the Fallen I kill when you first shut up and saw the Queen, and you're like, oh my god, Fallen, let me fight these guys, because, from my context, they're all bad guys.
Right.
From the context they give you in the game, because nothing is ever explained.
Yeah.
Which is really terrible. Suddenly they start giving you more background on the other fallen houses, and then apparently they had some war or something, and that the Queen, took out the House of Wolves, and then the other houses thought that they were traitors, so they didn't work with them, and I was like, and who cares? This doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I just think the whole, it's very weird. It's very weird. And but yeah, no. So moving on to the Taken King. So just think of all the content I just said. That was about $35. The Taken King is supposed to come with one new area, one new raid, 2 strikes. I think one of them is a PlayStation exclusive, by the way. Like handful of missions, and
new subclasses.
But you basically, they add in one new subclass for each of the characters that should have already been here, though. Right. That's the thing. And then, of course, there's going to be some new gear. But I mean, but get this, for basically all of that. Basically, so if you look back at the the first 2 quote unquote expansions, that's more content already than what they're mentioning in the Taken King, and that was $35. They want to charge $40 for the Taken King, and get this is really going to piss you off. They are charging £40 for that as well, which actually in the British currency translates to a higher amount of money that they actually spent. Basically, people in the UK spend more money on the Taken King because of the stupid pricing plan that you put up without realizing conversion. They're spending more on the Taken King than they actually did on vanilla Destiny.
Wow.
Just think about that for a second.
I don't
it's coming
really
with
want
one-fourth.
to.
It's coming with 1/4 of the content of original Destiny. The original Destiny gave you 4 places to go. They gave you Earth, Moon, Venus, Mars. They had they had a raid in that. They had a ton of strikes. They had a lot of strikes for each world, like 3 strikes for each world.
I missed the alpha,
had a lot,
and I missed the beta.
Yeah, well, no, but I'm just saying, like, it just from the base Destiny that costs $60 for us to buy. 4 worlds, 3 strikes per world, pretty much. 1 raid. PvP modes and things like that. For $20 less, they want to give you 1/4 of the content. They want to charge you more for less content than even the original DLC passes. And not only that, is they're so stupid that they want you, that they're charging the UK players the same price as the American players, quote unquote, which really converts to a higher amount of money. So they're paying more for the DLC than they did for the base game. and no one at Bungie has said jack squat about that. Also, recently, I think his name is Lucas Smith, one of the Bungie devs, or Destiny devs. He was talking about the Taken King Collector's Edition, which was the only play.
He's actually the creative director.
Well, he was talking about the collector's edition, which was the only way to get these like this exclusive content, which was, I think, some class armor that gave EXP bonuses. I think maybe a couple of weapons, some shaders, and some emotes. Where he literally said, "Oh, I could show you this one emote right now, and you'd throw money at the screen, like what? Like we're all idiots." And then because people complain, it's like, no, this is BS, this shouldn't be the only way to get it, because for a lot of people that means that they had to rebuy content they already had just to get the Taken King and to get this DLC. So they're like, okay, well, or like to get these little emotes or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, whatever, you can buy the $40 Taken King and we'll sell you the other stuff for $20. They're going to sell 3 emotes, 3 shaders, 3 class armor items, and then I think some weapons for $20.
Yep.
That is absolutely ridiculous. So technically, if you take that, add it on top of the Taken King, that's $60. You are paying the same price as the original Destiny for like 1/4 the content. That's a fact. That is a fact.
And I guarantee
want to support this.
I guarantee you that when you combine all of the content, everything that has been released for Destiny so far, and will be released, it's been announced, the $60 vanilla game. So let's forget even with the expansion pass. So say you got the expansion pass for $34.99.
So you are at $95.
$95, and then you get the Taken King, which is
another $40.
It brings it up to $134.99. And
if you get that DLC, that's $160.
That's $159.99 for a game that probably has less content in it than the vanilla version of some open world games out there.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing.
Witcher 3, I guarantee Witcher 3 has 2, if not 3 times the amount of content. The vanilla version, mind you, not just the added-on free DLC, which includes missions, full-on missions that they've done for free. The vanilla version of Witcher 3 probably has 2 to 3 more times content than all of the crap that has been released for Destiny and will be released in September.
Oh yeah, because the thing is what a lot of people don't seem to realize when they release these DLCs, they're like, oh, well, I mean, it's a lot of content. You can spend a lot of time with it. No, not really, because so when the Dark Below first came out, I was like, you know what? I'm pumped. This is going to be cool. I mean, maybe they're going to actually be fixing Destiny, all the problems I had, because the thing is, when Destiny first came out, I played the thing solid for like 3 months,
Dude,
I found some cool people
all the time.
Yeah, because the thing is it doesn't have a lot of substance, but it has really great gameplay that was fun and satisfying to actually play. Like,
I'd say the substance is the gameplay. The gameplay is the meat of the experience, which
shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, normally I say that in order to have, if you have great gameplay, you can have a good game. This is one of those situations where it has really great, solid gameplay. And it has a beautiful art style. It's in beautiful music. Everything else about it is completely lacking. Even like the content is completely lacking. So I don't know.
Yeah, and they're so dependent on recycling the areas they've already created that they're not doing anything new.
It's a fucking grind fest.
Yeah, and it's just it just boggles my mind, and it really bothers me, because even with the new world to go to, even if they try and add a new social area, it's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
It's not gonna matter, because anyone new that goes and picks up the game, they're gonna play it for like a couple months, and they're gonna be like, this thing doesn't actually have any story. I've just been playing this just to kind of do things.
Which, to be fair, there are those people out there, like some of the people I've talked to don't give a crap that there is a lack of story. They just go, well, I just like to go in and kill time and shoot things. And I'm like, okay, that's fine.
But I mean, it's such a repetition of doing the same
and
things at the same places.
It's overcharged like crazy.
Yeah, I ran across a guy.
Yeah.
I ran across a guy that was like, "Yeah, I'm starting to get bored with this game now." I'm like, "Dude, I got bored with this game 3 months ago. I mean, the only thing that kept me motivated was that I had people to play with, and then I took a break, and then I was playing other games, and then when The Dark Below came out, I came back and I started playing that, and then about a month into that, I was like, nope, done again. You know, pretty much done everything I need to do. And the sad thing is with The Dark Below is you'd think like, oh, well, you know, maybe it'll take as long as other people did to, you know, to get through the Vault of Glass. And no, there were so many cheats and exploits to Crota that people, like, basically when it launched, my clan and myself, we went and we started doing all the story missions and the quest missions, and we grabbed up some of the bounties and stuff, and they're like, okay, let's go and let's do this raid. One of the other guys basically spent his whole time getting, which is one of the BS things, is when The Dark Below came out, you could get just base Vanguard gear and things like that that would get your light level to 32. And so, or at least to 31 or 32 or something like that. So by the time we hopped in and we're doing the raid and we got to the end boss, which took us a while, we had some guys join in, and they were a higher level. So basically, what they did was the smart thing, and what we did was the stupid thing. Basically, they went and leveled their characters up so they could actually do the fight and beat it with more ease and things like that. But it was such a cakewalk, and the thing is, when we were in there, it's like, oh yeah, turns out like 2 hours into this expansion, someone already beat the raid. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was like, are you legitimately kidding me? And so all of the story, like the story missions, I finished for like both of the games. I finished in about an hour to 2 hours. That was pretty much the extent of their story missions, which was utterly ridiculous. And I just feel like they're going to cheap out this time too. I don't know if they're going to throw Oryx on the moon or if they're going to throw him on like Jupiter or something like that. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're like, oh, Oryx is coming for you, Guardians, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just, it's stupid. All of the new exotics pretty much suck. They decided to make like a combination of like a scout rifle and I think a sniper rifle or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of like, so either it's like a subpar it's like a subpar scout rifle, or a really slow sniper rifle, because apparently it's called the Queenbreaker's bow, so it's like a gun you can charge and then fire off. So basically, either way, it doesn't work competently for either place. I mean, the only cool thing I've seen that they added was a new secondary weapon class called sidearms, so you basically have like a secondary pistol. But I mean, I've only rented a one that was good, and the other ones just look like crap. And then people are just, they gave you the ability to reforge things that you have, and so people can just grab these BS perks. Like something that killed me a crap ton in the Trials of Osiris is something called Last Round. So basically, someone had a sniper rifle, fired off a couple of rounds, got to the last round, insta-killed me. Didn't even have to get a headshot. They just clipped me, insta-death, you know? And just, I don't know, it's really not worth it. And I heard that Destiny 2 isn't even supposed to be coming out until like 2017 or something like that. So we're going to be getting more DLCs before that even happens or something. And I'm just so frustrated. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm so done. You know, I was thinking like, well, maybe if Destiny 2 comes out and they actually like fix all of the problems that they currently have,
Nope.
I would give it a chance. But it's just, it's not worth it. It really isn't. And I mean, the thing is, if they're like, okay, well, you know, we've understood everyone's complaints, you know, we're only going to be charging like $20 for the Taken King, I would be like, you know what, for $20, I would try it, you know, but...
Not even for 20, dude, because you could use that 20 and buy, like, wait for a flash sale and get 2 different games, or 2 or 3 games that would probably have more content than that one thing.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is $40, even $30 is ridiculous for something that's 1/4 the content of the base game. So if you're thinking like so for 1/4 the content of the base game, it should just roughly be $20, something like that.
Right.
But it's absolutely ridiculous. There was one person that was trying to complain, saying like, "Oh, I don't know why you're all complaining. It's only $20." I'm like, "No, dude, the BS emote shader pack is $20," and he's like, "Oh, that's fucked up."
Yeah. Which,
And
okay, my issue with them, first of all, when they said this, I was like, oh, see, I'm like, I told you people, I knew this is what it would come down to. And everyone's like, no, it's just gonna be, they're gonna make changes, I'm like, no, dude, you're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, that this is what their policy is. This is what their mindset is while they're making this game. It's just to crank out little bits of content and charge you every nickel and dime you for every fucking thing that you have.
yeah, I'm
And the fact that they
wondering how this was just pulled out and sold to us on the side.
Yeah.
I'm really curious.
No, and then the fact
because there's so many areas that we should have been able to access in the
Yeah.
base game
And
that I'm just being able to now get access to,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, okay, well that's weird.
Oh, and everybody's praising them now because they made changes. They're actually like doing something different because people complained. And I'm like, yeah, people complained. That's good that people complained. People got it changed. But do not forget that they were going to do this in the first place.
Yeah, it's like when
don't
Microsoft
forget
was
that.
trying to sell everyone on online only, where
Yeah.
if you didn't get like a 24-hour like online connection check, it would brick your console.
Yeah. Which, okay.
Oh.
Which thankfully I'm still not okay that they did that, but I understand where the origin came from, and which is Don Matrick, because he was the head of Xbox at that time, and he left, so it was obviously through him. And then once Phil Spencer stepped in, he made efforts to do a complete 180, and now, like back then when I was like, fuck the Xbox, I'm never going to get one, now I'm thinking, okay, cool, I will wait for a really nice deal for an Xbox One. And there actually is a really nice deal for it on the Microsoft Store itself. And it's $400, you get the 1 terabyte thing, you get a free game, you get Master Chief Collection,
Which is still broken, by the way.
Yeah, and another controller, and $50 Microsoft, a $50 Xbox card for $400. Which I was like, shit, that's pretty damn tempting. I like that. But again, they have to make deals like that. They have to.
Oh yeah, no, they fucked up so incredibly much that they have to do they have to do things like that. Yeah, because I think I was seeing some statistic at this point that I think like, actually I don't want to ramble off random things that I read. I want to actually get a legitimate statistic on this.
Mm-hmm. But like the reason Sony hasn't done these amazing bundles, which they don't need to. They think they don't need to, because they're winning by a huge margin, so they're content with keeping the bundles like the main two now are the Last of Us bundle and the Batman bundle. They're not going to have like a really amazing deal like Microsoft is doing now, because they just aren't. They're not going to do that because they're winning, and they know a lot of people will still buy a PlayStation 4 over an Xbox One. Because they will. I mean, that's just it's somewhat fact. It's true, absolutely true.
Yeah.
And okay, but with if not Microsoft, if Bungie was able to get away from Activision, which they're not going to be able to because they're signed to them now for a 10-year contract, which, holy Jesus, no, that will be the death of them. This is, like, if they somehow manage to get away from them and partner up, like, on their own, or partner up with Microsoft, or partner up with Sony exclusively, then I think we will be starting to get somewhere again with what they can do. But as long as
I wouldn't even trust Bungie after all they've done, though.
Well,
I really wouldn't.
I don't think it's mainly their fault. I think yes, I do think they should share some of the blame. I've heard people say, "Well, it's not Bungie's fault." I'm like, okay. Yes, they do.
Well, okay, no. The way Lucas Smith Lucas, whatever the hell his name was, walked out and was just so arrogant about it.
Yeah.
And when directly asked about it, it's like, well, like, don't you think that's a little high for the amount of content?
No.
He's like, oh, I think, he literally turned around and it's like, oh, we all feel that it's priced correctly. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, that's where some of the
what?
blame comes from. That's
Well, no, but the
where
thing is like, it takes two to tango, and
not
Bungie doesn't really seem to be apologizing. No. They don't seem to be apologizing about anything.
Well,
You know,
they
like,
can't.
if they legitimately cared about their fans, they would find ways to do things for their fans that weren't just ignoring the community, updating once a month, and unless something drastically goes wrong, and then when they go and are trying to fix things, like with this whole like little like, it's like, oh well, you can only get this with the $80 version of Destiny Taken King or whatever, and they're like, oh well, no, we'll sell it for you $20 on the side. That's
But they can't.
the problem is that you were charging for that crap to start with when it should have just been free.
I know, but my argument with them, the length that I'm willing to go to defend them, I'm not willing to defend them all the way because, like you said, it does take two to tango, and having this asshole come out and say this dumb shit is not really making them look any good. However,
and his apology didn't even help anything. It made it worse.
Well, it didn't make it worse. It was like, yeah, but you wouldn't have apologized if people hadn't called you out on your shit. Because they're doing the exact. It's not like they're discounting Taken King. They're still doing that stupidly expensive shader armor bullshit, whatever the hell it's called, for $20. Which is like, if you really gave a shit about people, if you actually really
that's basically like that's like, I had someone sit down and break down the price of everything. So with the collector's edition, I want to say, how much was that collector's edition?
$80.
Was it $80? The $80 one. So the collector's edition is that the one where you get like the physical coin and everything like that too?
That's the one.
So for $80, let's think about this. So let's say we're looking at it. They're already telling us the Taken King costs $40 by itself.
Yeah.
So that means that the other two DLCs, they're telling us that, for like, they're like $35 originally. That takes us to, that takes us to 75. They're basically telling us that all of the physical content that you get is free, and basically all of this extra DLC stuff, you're being technically charged. What was it? I don't really know the price breakdown, but basically all of the stuff you're getting that's physical is free, and all of the digital stuff actually cost you.
I've got one. I've got a price breakdown here. Okay. So, there are 4 different editions of the Taken King. 4. The first one, of course, is the standalone digital edition, which, base game, $39.99. And you get some, I guess, if you are a current player of Destiny, if you've been with the game since, before September 15th, you're going to get some kind of exclusive little reward thing, which they haven't mentioned yet. So, okay, there's that. And then there's the Legendary Edition, the physical copy, which is the Legendary Edition. You get, of course, like we said, the base game, you get the Dark Below, you get House of Wolves, and the Taken King, and you get some VIP reward for being a loyal player. Anyway, but I guess with this, it's a okay, no.
Well, no, I can tell you what it is right here, because the thing is the digital collector's edition is still $80, but you don't get all the physical stuff. They're basically telling you all the physical stuff is free, everything else just costs money.
Yeah, it's 3 exotic items, the emotes and all that bullshit. But in the fine print, it says that, I'm looking at this right now, and it is definitely in the very fine print, is that you have to be playing the game before August 31st if you want to get the VIP shit with the Taken King. So there's that. And And then, like you said, there's the digital edition, which is the whole controversy about the stupid emotes and which why the fuck are emotes? I don't get. It's like you just dance around a little bit. $20, please. What do you fucking do?
No. But it's not even that for me. It's like okay. So so there's a physical collector's edition, which comes with a lot of physical things. I mean, it comes with like a steel book. It comes with patches. It comes with a strange coin. It comes with a journal. It comes with posters. It comes with stuff like that. You know, it comes with that. It's $80. You get the digital version. You just get the game and the DLCs. You don't get any of the physical stuff. So basically, they're telling you all of this physical stuff is free, but they still want to charge you for the other stuff, which is just so weirdly priced, in my opinion. Like a digital collector's edition, like if it should, dude, it should just be like, I don't know, it shouldn't cost $80 considering.
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it's like, well, who wants the digital one? Just go get the physical one, and you can actually get more stuff that you can hold in your hand.
Absolutely.
It's so weirdly priced, and then just like I was saying before, that just the Taken King by itself costs more than the base $60 game in the UK because Bungie didn't pay attention to conversion costs, and they think that USD is the same thing as British pounds. It's not. You know, like $40. I can't. I'm trying to think of how much. Yeah, it's stupid. They don't know what they're doing, and it's pissing me off.
Yeah, it's
and the thing is like even for Americans, it's like for $20 more, you know, for $20 more, you can get a different game. You can get
for $25
or for $40 or for $40, you can get an older game that you haven't played yet that's significantly better. You know,
for let's see. So for $60 you can get The Witcher 3. And then $24.99, you can get the expansion pass, which is like 30 hours of content right there in a completely new area. So that's $84.99, and that's, you know, even like I said, the vanilla version of that game. I don't want to sound like I'm completely kissing Witcher 3's ass, but it's true. It is one of the best values on the market right now. One of the best values like ever. It's incredible how much content there is in that game and how much replayability there is. And then people have the gall to make shit like this that is just cash whoring itself out, where it's like, we're just going to nickel and dime you for everything that you have, because it's like, I don't even get, what baffles me is that there is still a large community for this thing.
Yeah, I just don't it is dwindling though.
I got it at one point. I loved this game when it first came out. Don't get me wrong. I loved it when it first started out. I have some of my fondest PS4 memories so far are from the beta and the alpha. I really liked it when it first came out. I was the early exploration. Yeah, the story was shit, but I still really enjoyed going in and exploring this world and everything. Yeah. And then slowly it just became more and more and more apparent to me that this is just an empty experience, that it's just this. Yeah. And one day I just was like sitting there and it was like, wow, I have to go run around this empty environment in order to find these dumb plants that will give me metal for this gun that's probably going to do a little bit more damage. And I was just like, wow, this is not what I want. This is not what I bought this game for. This is not what I waited an entire summer for to play. And it broke my heart. Like, I definitely consider Destiny be among, like, I don't know, man, maybe the most disappointing game ever? I don't know, like, maybe.
Yeah, because what it could have been, you know. And the thing is if like, for the money you would spend for the Taken King, save it. Mighty Number 9 comes out the exact same day. Metal Gear Solid comes out 14 days before that. You know,
got my collector's edition prepped and set. Gonna be getting that a week early, so I'm happy about that. Oh yeah. Pumped for that shit.
I mean, also Mad Max comes out too, so you got like Mad Max, Metal Gear Solid.
But that's Warner Brothers. That's what makes me nervous.
Mighty Number 9. You know, there's other stuff that are coming out right around the same time.
Yeah, and you get bonus content in the physical edition of Mighty Number 9 for free. You don't even have to pre-order it. You just get bonus shit. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I might pick it up just for that. I mean, I want to pick it up, but I'm starting to get away from pre-ordering stuff because I've become accustomed to it with, being around the environment that I am. But there was even like a few weeks where I just gradually canceled all of my pre-orders because I was like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of getting burned on shit. And if I lose out on like a skin pack, so fucking what? Like, who cares? And the only reason I would ever understand anybody pre-ordering something these days, if it's something is going to sell out, like The Witcher 3 Collector's Edition. That's sold out in a heartbeat. The Arkham Knight Limited Edition, that's sold out in a matter of days. The Metal Gear Phantom Pain Collector's Edition, that's sold out in a matter of hours. So,
Fallout 4 sold out overnight.
Yeah, I understand pre-ordering a collector's edition with physical items in it. If you're a fan of the series, that's fine. Like, I completely understand that. But then again, though, you can get burned by that too. But I would feel bad for you actually if somebody got burned by that, because that's a series that they know, it's a series that they love. Destiny is not and this is my problem with going off on a different subject, but that's somewhat related to Destiny. Going off, like, I don't like it when new franchises come out and have these elaborate collector's editions. I don't like it. I don't trust games when they do that. Like when The Order came out, and that had those ridiculously expensive, for what it turned out to be, just ridiculously expensive premium and limited editions that were like $100, $150 for a franchise that people didn't even know about. Destiny, same thing. Wasn't it like a $100 limited edition and then $150 collector's edition? The Ghost Edition, which I was like, holy hell.
Yeah, I should be getting the Taken King for free.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that should be a thing. If you get
and then and get this, like on a lot of their stuff, like these like I was telling you about these etheric lights in the game, it'll say maxes your armor out to the level cap for year 1.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. They're doing this like Marvel shit where it's like tier 1, tier 2, phase 1, phase 2, and I'm like,
so basically
off.
So it's...
I'm like, you're not a film series, okay? You're a fucking video game.
Yeah, because they're like, well, we're gonna have this for 10 years. Like, no, you're really not. No, you really aren't. You know?
Okay, maybe for somebody, and maybe for somebody that did not want to play Destiny initially, that were a lot smarter than I am, and said, hey, I'm gonna wait for this. Because I don't trust Activision. I'm going to wait. And they're going to pick up Destiny now with the Taken King shit for, like, the fact that a fucking expansion is getting a collector's edition. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, why
they want you, basically for 1/4 of the content, they want to charge you out the ass. I mean, it's not even like it's not even that. It's like Destiny 2 collector's edition, because I would understand that, but it's basically something that's probably going to take you about a weekend to beat.
Yeah.
And they want to charge you so much more money for it, And
then you're just going to do the same shit over and over.
I mean, you get more value out of the base game of Destiny than you do at any of this other shit.
Well, and this is where, like, my like, conflicting feelings come in, because I can understand somebody buying the Taken King Legendary Edition now and having fun with it, because they didn't get to experience the bullshit that we did. They did not know how fucking dumb a lot of the stuff was when it first came out. If they're going in now, and you never know, the Taken King could fix some of the long-running issues. You never know.
It's not going to fix the fact that it doesn't have a story.
I know, but you could have, but it is objectively has more content in it than the base game for Destiny. It comes with the base game of Destiny and the first 2 expansions. Well,
The base game of Destiny still has more content than all of the DLC and the Taken King put together.
oh, I know, but for $60 for somebody that has never played it before, it's a decent value. It's decent.
Well, yeah, because I mean the thing is if they're just selling you the Taken King by itself for $40, that means they're inferring that it's they're inferring that base game of Destiny and the 2 DLCs are only constitute the remaining $20 of that equation, for like the $60 version that basically comes with everything. That comes with like base game, two DLCs, and this quote unquote expansion, whatever. All I know is they're trying to ram you for money. They're not giving content.
Ram you up
the people that I played with don't even really seem to care anymore. They just kind of show up occasionally to do stuff, and it's not fun anymore for me. It's just like I try to play PvP because I do enjoy PvP sometimes, and it's just so cheap now between the long-range shotguns and the really cheap poison guns that kill you, even though you... Also, there's been several times where, like, I think their netcode is off, too, because I've gone behind corners and I still somehow die. And it's like, you were hit by a gun, and I'm like, don't know how, it's behind a wall.
But I did like the PvP initially. It was one of the PvP was one of the things that was keeping me going.
Well, no, I mean, like, that's the thing. Just like with anything like Halo, like, PvP is what keeps Halo alive. And I mean,
Halo has a story.
Yeah. Although I'm not too keen on this new Halo because
it looks okay.
No. They've literally put the nails in the coffin for couch co-op, because the thing is Halo.
Oh yeah.
Halo was the couch co-op. Bring your friends over, play with your buddies, split screen game. There's like I played several of them split screen with one of my friends just playing the story mode. We would invite friends over, and like we each had an Xbox, so basically we would get several people on each Xbox to like play in matches versus each other or go online and play against other people. And that was like some of the most fun I ever had at a Halo. And they're like, oh, like it is like the lamest excuse I think I've ever actually heard, where it's like, oh, well, I mean, they couldn't make the game look as good as it does if there was split screen. It would take down the quality of the graphics.
Yeah, they said it wouldn't be 60 frames per second if they had put it in couch co-op. And I'm like, I don't buy that at all.
I don't buy that at all either. Coming from the people that couldn't get Halo 4 to work correctly, because I had to quit playing the multiplayer on that because it was so broken and busted, and like actually it wasn't that it was the it's just that their matchmaking was so terrible and their connections and their servers were so bad that I couldn't get a consistent match. And there were some times where literally I was in one match popped between like 3 to 4 different hosts, which was just terrible. So I quit playing it because I wasn't having fun anymore. And now basically the one thing that I had fun with Halo, actually playing co-op with people, because the thing is like for people it's like, oh, well, I'm going to hang out with my friend, we're going to sit down and we're going to play Halo. Because the thing is if it had split screen co-op, I would go over to my friend's house and I would just play it split screen with him to play Halo 5. But no, they're doing the whole Call of Duty thing, where they're like, oh, no, everyone needs their own system because, like, that's the best way to play with your friends. Like, just talking to them, like, long distance, like, over a server, as opposed to actually sitting next to your friend and just, like, getting a pizza and, like, having a fun night,
There's a reason why stuff like the original Halo games, like Gears of War...
The reason why they were so popular is because of the couch co-op.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I played a lot of the Gears of War games with another person. I played the first one with my brother. I played the third one with one of my other friends. I think I might have played the second one solo. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. But the thing is I had way more fun when I was playing with other friends and I was playing, like, the first game with my brother, And, like, I hate this crap that there is such an attack on split screen, and people are like, oh, well, I mean, it doesn't even look right anyway, and I mean, it makes the game look worse. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
BS, take down the resolution, a little bit, or the, or the, or the graphics just a little bit to keep your frame rate at 60 if that's the biggest thing you have a problem with. Because the thing is, I mean, the Halo games look nice, but they're not the nicest looking games. They've always had their own little unique artistic style, so they don't have to look hyper fucking realistic. But that's
Yeah.
what they're aiming for with this one, because they're like, oh, look at Malcolm Reynolds' face from Firefly, oh, look how realistic that looks, and then they're just walking along, and like someone else brought this up. They're like, oh yeah, and like in the trailer they showed basically running along and jumping and grabbing onto cliffs and moving like that, and they're like, this is like Call of Duty, this isn't
Yeah.
Halo. And I mean, that really bothers me, because the thing is even if I had an Xbox One and I played that, I would be playing the game by myself. I wouldn't have like 3 friends to play the story mode with like that, because it's like getting 3 other people online at the same time to sit down and just sit and play through something is way more difficult than it is to just like invite like some friends over to your house for a couple hours and just play some games. So I mean, that's like that's pissing me off 343, and also like and then and they knowingly released a broken, screwed up
Yeah.
Master Chief Collection. They knew that. They knew that ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
and they did it anyway. They knew that they could sell that game, but they were rushing it out because they wanted to sell those Xbox Ones. And then they're like, oh, well, it's harder to make these games work, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
You should have taken your time. Don't blame the games. Don't blame Bungie. It's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You were responsible for this. That's like, oh, well, I couldn't finish my paper because, I have like a TV in my house.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's a null point. You don't have a point.
Yeah.
And something else apparently that I'm hearing about, like knowing ahead of time that things are messed up and broken. Apparently, Warner Brothers knew the PC version of Arkham Knight was screwed up and let it go out anyway,
Mm-hmm.
months ahead of time. I don't even know what to think about these people anymore. It's just, and the thing is, I do not blame Rocksteady, because as far as I'm concerned, the PS4 and Xbox One versions work pretty awesome. Graphically, they look amazing. They're getting graphics out of that game
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't think was possible unless it was on a high-end PC, the way things looked, Basically, it looks as good or better than that Watch Dogs, like vertical slice that they showed us where everything looked really awesome. And they got to take crap because the production company didn't handle the port properly or didn't manage that correctly.
Yeah.
And while they were trying to get their game, because basically I'm pretty sure the way it was for Rocksteady is they were told to, it's like, hey, get this game, we're focused on it, get it working good, and then we'll take what you have and we'll send it over to these guys, and then they'll get that PC side working, and because,
Sure they will.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't blame Rocksteady. People want to blame Rocksteady
No,
and give
I
them
don't.
crap for it, but I'm like, no, that's not their fault. They made a
That's
game
on Warner Brothers.
that, yeah, no, it's like Rocksteady made a game that works perfectly fine. It's not their fault that the people handling the ports screwed it up to the point where it was unplayable for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Because the game, it wasn't like Battlefield 4 where everything just didn't work universally across all consoles. It was a case of where one port didn't work the way it was supposed to. It wasn't that the game itself was screwed up the way Battlefield 4 was. Speaking of Battlefield 4, I'm not getting Battlefront on launch because I'm weary as shit of that.
Yep. It's yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more I can say about that. I'm just like, yeah, that's not gonna... I mean, I really want to be behind it, but I am so nervous for it that I just...
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but the thing is I want to see more of, like, I want to get an actual concept of the size of these maps, which they haven't showed me, because the thing is I was told that map that they showed us at E3 was very tiny from people that went and actually played it there. Like Angry Joe, he went and played it, and he was like, wow, this is kind of small. Also, the ships handle like ass, which probably makes sense why they don't want space battles. So
yeah,
apparently they're gonna have to fix the ships. I'm more like my feeling that I'm hoping, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, is that the reason why that map wasn't as big as it should have been was that it was just like a demo map for E3, so they just kind of wanted to get people into the action right away to get a taste of it. You know, they didn't want like basically people having to go across the battlefield and like start with the long range and then move into the mid range and then close range type of stuff. You know what I mean? So I want to give them the benefit of the doubt for that, but I'm not going to give them a pass for their ships not working the way they're supposed to.
No.
But at the same time, they didn't even have anything to show us last year at E3. So how much are they rushing this game? It really worries me. It really worries me.
Well, even though they say they're still going to delay it if it's fucked up, I'm like, no, you're not. I know EA.
Oh no, there's no way in hell they're going to launch it whether or not it's broken or not, because EA wants to get a piece of that Star Wars money.
Mm-hmm.
I had a giant like facepalm moment when I heard that EA has the right to Star Wars games, you know, and I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
And there's the reason why 1313 was canceled. And I was really thinking that at this press conference this year they were going to talk about, like, because I heard rumors that they were using assets and things from 1313 to make a different Star Wars game, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty exciting. Let's hear what that is. And then they just talked about frickin' Disney Infinity or whatever the hell it was, and I was like, no one cares. Literally, no one cares.
Yeah.
And it's so idiotic, and the market has been so flooded with these little tiny toys to play these games, because they're like, oh, well, we get them to buy the game, we get them to buy the toys, and then we make new toys, and they're going to want to buy those toys to play these characters in the game, and we're just going to make so much money. Hardy, hardy, har, Nintendo.
Yeah. But I must admit, I am curious to see what Visceral Games' Star Wars game is going to be, especially if it has the writer and director of the Uncharted trilogy involved with it, which that would be really... if they play their cards right, that'd be really interesting. I'm still going to be nervous because of EA, and I don't trust EA at all.
No, I don't either.
But
and they keep taking all the franchises that I love and screwing them over.
Yeah. Which is why I can't bring myself to get excited for Mass Effect. I don't even want to play Dragon Age Inquisition.
No, wait, no. Well, I mean, the thing is,
the only one I really want is Plants vs. Zombies 2, Garden Warfare 2.
Yeah, see, I don't even want that. The thing is, if it's anything like the first one, I'm gonna be able to download it for free on the PSN about after 3 months. So,
I don't know about this one though, because they're actually making it a full price game now. It's not $40 like the first one was. It's a full on $60 thing because of how popular the first one was. It's like a full on $60 thing with the usual EA
frankly, dude,
deluxe edition and all that shit.
I would still say wait on it, because the thing is we don't know if it's sort of like the same size as the first Plants vs. Zombies, just with different stuff.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you can save your money. So I would say wait on it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I am gonna wait on it. I want to actually hear if it's worth buying. Then I will actually pick it up.
Yeah.
Because
I
want to support the game. I don't want to wait so long, because I know this will be a game that I want to play with friends, but I'm still nervous because it's EA.
Yeah, and EA found a way to turn me off from Mirror's Edge also, because when I heard it was just going to be a prequel, I was like, we don't need a prequel.
I want to know what happened.
You know, there's no story that really needed to be explained in this world that you introduced to us.
Yeah, but then it's like, oh, it's Fate's Origin. I'm like, I don't.
And then I heard some people using the word soft reboot. I'm like, no, the first game was awesome. You don't need to reboot it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, and it's free roam exploring. And I'm like,
no. No, don't do that.
I'm like, the thing about, that was fun about that game is it had a great soundtrack, it had some pretty awesome aesthetics, and it was just fun to run around and do parkour stuff on these levels.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it was maddeningly difficult um, at some moments. And then you get this, like in this one, they're like, oh, Chell won't, or not Chell, Hope, or no, Faith. Yeah, Faith won't, is it Faith? I think it's Faith.
Yeah.
Like, Faith won't use any guns in this game, and I'm like, well, she didn't really use
fine.
guns in the first game.
You can take a gun. You can disarm
Well, no,
somebody.
I know. Yeah, the thing is you can disarm people, and then you can use a gun sometimes, like around the end of the game, because you kind of needed to a little bit. But I mean, it wasn't a shooter. Basically, it was just sort of like you're supposed to kind of like get it, like kind of distract them, drop the gun, and then haul ass and keep moving. But the thing is to like take that option away. It's just kind of ridiculous, And I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. I mean, EA keeps finding ways to take games that I love and just completely like shit on them, and it keeps happening. I'm so worried about any Star Wars games ever in the future now.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know.
Well,
but I want to talk about something on positive news because all these things have bummed me out.
Yeah. We'll close with something positive.
Apparently, the really awesome follow-up trailer, or the follow-up gameplay trailer for Uncharted 4 that we didn't actually see at E3 but Press did and talked about has gone online. Where basically it's actually the rest of the car chase, and I just thought it was awesome. Personally, I haven't watched it.
You haven't?
Because
okay, we're gonna pause this. You need to watch this before.
No. Like the thing is like there's a reason why I don't want to watch it. And one, it's because I already know I'm gonna get Uncharted 4, and two, I want to enjoy it when I see it myself. I want to be like, wow, that's awesome. Because the thing is, had I actually done this whole car chase that they showed off, like I'm just trying to like keep back as much as I can for these games, because generally every Uncharted game I've actually played, I've gone through pretty fast, and they didn't seem pretty like significant to me. And I mean, I haven't really been a giant fan of them, but the thing is, the way Sully and Nathan were written in that demo that we saw initially, I liked their banter with each other. They made me chuckle. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Joel and Ellie, the way they would screw with each other. Yeah. And I think that mostly comes from the fact that it's the other guy and Druckmann that worked on The Last of Us that are actually doing it, which makes me happy. That's actually the main reason why I'm so pumped for this Uncharted game, is because because I liked The Last of Us so much. And which makes me really excited that that there's like a pseudo confirmation of The Last of Us 2 that it's gonna be. I think we all knew that it was gonna happen just because of how massively popular and how well The Last of Us did, and the fact they're also coming out with a movie. I mean, like, I know we're kind of just like flopping topics back and forth, but I mean, there's just like a lot of different little things. But yeah, no, like for the Last of Us 2, I'm super excited about that. And but I don't want like a direct sequel follow-up from the game itself.
No.
I would either want like Ellie in the future as an adult, or I would want basically Joel in the past. I want to see him meet Tess. I want to see him in his dark days, like something that I can imagine is sort of like for a reveal that they might do in the future. Basically, it kind of goes back over the conversation when Joel and Ellie make it to, I can't remember which town it was, but it's after they got the truck and they crashed it and they had to go through the city.
Oh, Boston?
And there was like, no, it wasn't Boston, because they had already left Boston. It's after they got the truck from that other town. But yeah, no, it's where they run into the cannibals and the people that basically kill people on the road and stuff like that, and take all their like clothing and stuff like that, and that set up the trap. Basically from that trailer where they crashed the truck or the car or the van, whatever. And I could imagine basically they just show that they have like the voiceover where like Joel, like where Ellie's like, well, how do you know all this? And he's like, because I used to be one of them, and then it would like show cuts of like Joel doing like really brutal stuff, and then
Mhm.
maybe cuts of him like meeting Tess and just different stuff. Like I want to know more about his past in those 20 years,
Mhm.
because I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, like um like society like dissolving and de-evolving and things like that, and just all these things going on. I feel like they could do some cool stuff with that. You know, like I want to know more about like this world during like the fall, because I'm assuming like post 20 years, there's a lot less of these cordyceps than there are like when that all of that stuff went to hell. Like
Mhm.
10 years in, there is probably way more of those than there are currently. Like and so I just want to see more of that, or I just want to see like more of the future, just like maybe Ellie making it to a point where maybe they actually hit like a point in time where like cordyceps aren't really that big of a threat anymore because there's just not that many of them left,
Mhm.
or they just really don't go to, because the thing is just like they said, like the cordyceps after a point in time they just fall over, the fungus spreads out, and the spores come out, but after that point in time it just goes away unless it's like like a subway tunnel or something like that. But most of the open air places, I mean, they don't even have to worry about that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean that's just my like I'm really excited for it. I'm excited for Uncharted 4. I'm excited for everything that Naughty Dog is doing from this point on. So, and then I'm trying to think of any other thing that had been announced recently.
I'm really excited for. Well, it hasn't been announced recently, but it's one of the game. It's probably my most anticipated game of August by far. Would be Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which is a PS4 exclusive. I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but it's about, I don't know whether you're playing a person or if it's just you as like a spirit or something. You're basically going through this quiet English town that it is in the aftermath of the apocalypse, where you discover, I don't know, the souls or and it's not a horror game or anything. It's not like a violent post-apocalyptic thing. It's a very, I don't know, like non-hand holding, exploration based, melancholic drama as far as it goes, with the exploring the town and finding all the different souls and discovering how these people, how these it's basically, the concept is these ordinary people dealing with the end of all things, an extraordinary situation. So, and it has one of the like this, the music in the game, it could beat The Witcher 3 and Bloodborne for like my top soundtrack of the year. I mean, all the
yeah,
music I've heard from it is, it's gorgeous. Like, I just almost want to cry because it's so beautiful. And it's just a game where it's a very not a very whatchamacallit. It's not focused on action. It's not focused on objectives. It's focused on non-linear exploration, and it's just a very very abstract game. And it just seems like a really unique. It's one of those experiences that seems tailor made for the PlayStation 4. Like
yeah,
their policy of what is a PlayStation, because one of the things that PlayStation does better than Microsoft is they have games that have this air of mystery to them. Where Microsoft, a lot of it is very cut and dry. It's just a bunch of gameplay trailers, and it's very, very not linear, but it's very straightforward. It's very, um, it's there. You know what it is. But what Sony does really well is they have games that have a sense of mystery and that really make you feel like, oh wow, this is something new. I haven't seen anything like this before. This is really interesting. I wonder what this is, and it gives you a sense of questioning what it is. But everybody's gone to the Rapture is one of those games coming out this year. Well, probably the only PlayStation exclusive like that this year, which is kind of like the old spirit of PlayStation itself. And it looks beautiful. Have you seen any of the trailers or anything for it?
No. I've only seen, well, I only saw like an intro where like someone's just walking around. I didn't get to see too much of it.
Well, I think they're keeping stuff hidden in the trailers, which is good because I don't want to know everything that happens in the game. But
Yeah.
and I don't know how much it is though. Now, that's another thing. If it's like more than I don't know $20, I'll be like, ooh, I don't know about that. But you know, I hope it's a really awesome game. I'm really looking forward to it, and it looks beautiful. Really, really excited for it.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. We're actually getting 2 PS4 exclusives in August, which is really cool. We're getting whatchamacallit, Until Dawn, and then we're getting Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which that seems like August is a good year. I mean, not a good year. It's a good month.
August is a great year. I agree with you.
August is a good month for PlayStation stuff. Surprisingly, you wouldn't think August.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't think August would be a good month for stuff, but yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about it, but that God of War 3 remastered comes out this month.
Yeah, I love God of War 3, but I'm gonna wait until it's cheaper because I've played it multiple times. That's one of the few platinums I have on my PlayStation account, and
yeah,
like I love that game. I think it's great, but I can wait. Like it's not one of the remasters that I was like begging for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like a giant fan of the franchise either. The last one, the only one that I really played all the way through, I played one of like, I think I played, oh god, did I even? No, I was like playing some of the game or like one of the PSP ones or something from that God of War collection.
Oh,
I beat the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat the first one, I think, and I was starting on the second one or something. I think I was working on God of War 1, and I just didn't get the chance to finish it up. But I beat that. I liked the prequel one, though, that they came out with on the...
Chains of Olympus?
No. It was like on the PS3. It was a prequel one.
Ascension.
Yeah, because like they put in a multiplayer that I actually found pretty fun. It was different. You know, it was pretty cool with like war building and stuff like that. But,
that's actually the only God of War I don't like. I don't really care for Ascension all that much. Just because I felt like it was just an excuse to have multiplayer.
But it was actually fun multiplayer.
I was indifferent towards the multiplayer in that case. I honestly kind of groaned when they announced that they were doing a God of War 4. Which I'm thinking, what the hell can they do at this point? They've done every backstory that's needed to be told for Kratos. There's unless they were to reboot it with a different.
He's going to move on to the next pantheon of gods, you know, because I mean, there's Judeo-Christian, Norse, you know. He's gonna go kill the Greek versions of all the ones he just killed.
That would actually be really cool if they had like Japanese mythology with him taking down like the Japanese gods and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. I'd be down for that. But it has to be a different character. It cannot be Kratos. If it's Kratos again, I'm gonna be like, oh god, no. Please.
Yeah, because a bunch of different cultures have different gods of war.
Yeah,
you know.
It's like, please.
But I don't think they would depart from because I mean, what is God? What is because is it Greek or is it the Roman? Because the Greek and Roman gods are pretty much the same. They're just named separately.
Yeah, they're almost the same.
But I can't remember which one, like that, like the God of War ones are supposed to be. If they're because I can't remember if Zeus was the Greek or the Roman. I know it's Greek because the Roman ones Greek. Were like named after planets.
Yeah. I think no, it's not Mercury. Might have been Mars.
You know, it'd be cool. Yeah, no, Mars is the God of War.
Okay.
So I think that's the Roman one. Yeah, no, like if they actually like did sort of like something different, where like they just took a new protagonist, gave him a different pantheon of gods to
a different backstory, like everything.
Reboot, like maybe
the franchise.
Yeah, like just basically instead of like dealing with the same gods again, just like pick a new pantheon. Pick a new like region, that kind of thing. Pick a new character. I mean, you don't have to like drastically like depart from the formula either.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a character that has to go and fight against the gods and things like that.
You can have
you know?
something different. You need to have something different gameplay. Have it be the
He's
core
killed them
gameplay,
all.
but
There's nothing else. There is nothing. I mean, the Titans. I mean,
they can do something. I know they can come up with something.
I think he took out the Prometheans and stuff like that. I don't even know, man.
But I don't know what they can do.
That's why in that prequel they had him fight the Furies, because that's the only other ones,
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah, it's really that's about it. And it was like all right, well, I just like when they announced like yes, we're doing a God of War 4. I went really like why don't you guys move on to another franchise? Like
also, I'm pretty sure at the end of God of War 3, the whole world was pretty much just doomed.
It's dead. And I think they might have mentioned that Kratos wasn't going to be. They said it.
I hope not. I hate Kratos. I really hate Kratos.
I love Kratos.
Well, no, the thing is that I hate him is that he's just so caught up on himself that he's willing to, brutally murder just random innocent people,
But that's how vengeance takes hold of him. That's his personification of vengeance, which is weird. Like one of the most interesting contradictions with Kratos is that all he really ever does is like scream and yell and like call out people and be like, I will destroy you. But he doesn't seem like a one-dimensional character, which is like a really interesting contradiction.
I don't know. I feel he's pretty one-dimensional. I've never liked Kratos. Like, I played the first God of War in the moment that you basically sacrifice the ship captain to the Kraken. I was like, I'm done with this character.
But that gives you a sense of who Kratos is.
Like, yeah, and I hated him. I don't like the character.
I
may agree that other people, I'm fine understanding that other people like the character. I just personally hate the character.
That's fair. I mean, I personally like I love Kratos. I think he's like a great protagonist. But he's run his ground at this point.
Yeah. Honestly, I still even think that God of War is gonna look pretty rough, to be honest.
Oh, 3?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, just because, I mean, it looked good for the time that it came out, but the thing is games like The Last of Us looked significantly better.
Yeah.
In my opinion. No,
it definitely does, but, there are ways to where it could be better. I don't know. Again, like I said...
Unless they've spent significant amount of time to update the textures and things like that, like updating the textures, updating like the way the game flows and everything like that. If they literally just went back and took the entire game, updated the models, the textures, the graphic fidelity and all of that, then, I mean, okay. But I get the feeling it's just going to look like one of these older games that they just kind of made it look slightly better.
Yeah, well, they just add 60 frames per second to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I hate. It's like, no, if you're going to go back, like, give me a solid reason to actually replay this shit.
But there's really
make it look better.
Much they can do with God of War 3. I mean, you can do stuff with the original God of Wars 1 and 2. Hell, you can even do stuff with Chains of Olympus and Ghosts of Sparta. You can't really do much to upscale God of War 3, because that's just such a good... Like, it looks great already, but I just don't get how they can do something like that.
Oh, God. So I'm looking at this stuff for, for the Uncharted collection that's supposed to be coming out in October. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's like, pre-order and you get the multiplayer beta for Uncharted 4, and it's like, oh, God, not again.
No, it's not a pre-order. It comes with it no matter what. So even if you get it, like, day 5, you will still get access to the beta. It's, like, the only pre-orders with that game is some stupid skin pack. That's it. That's literally what it is. So, I mean, I give them props for not going that route. That would have been shitty if it was, like, pre-order exclusive. You get
because I can't stand that crap. And then the thing is, it's BS. They market it as, like, something that's a pre-order bonus, but then when you get the game, it's already in the box. And it's like, that's not a pre-order bonus. That's, like, you falsely advertising. And people are like, no, like, the first shipments They're
They do
like the
that
first
all the
shipment we
time.
get of the first shipment we get of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just have these pre-order, but they have these like passes and stuff like that. But then I'm like,
Right.
that means that even if you didn't pre-order the game, you could still get the pass technically.
Yeah, no, like the cat, like when Arkham City came out with the Catwoman stuff, and I assumed I was never gonna get it because I didn't pre-order the game. So then I went to pick it up at Best Buy day one, and I remember getting it, and I was like, oh, there it is, and the code for it was like right there. I was like, okay, all right, that's strange, but that's fine because I wanted to play it anyway, so okay, whatever, that's fine. But yeah, it's weird just seeing pre-order stuff be bundled with games when they come out day one. It's like, why the fuck did you even make a big deal about it being a fucking pre-order bonus then?
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't
Oh,
make any
I've
sense.
just noticed something else pretty cool.
Mhm.
I'm just like looking to those games coming out in the future and see that that Ratchet and Clank game is only going to be $40. That's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
And I mean, like some people are saying, like, okay, so I'm like looking at it, and it says what it actually is.
Mhm.
They like say play the game based on the movie. Based on the game, Ratchet and Clank PS4 is a new game based on elements from the original Ratchet and Clank. So basically, it's just sort of like a reboot, but only for $40, and they're not charging $60. I'm good with that. I'll probably actually play Ratchet and Clank for the first time ever then.
You've never played Ratchet and Clank?
Nope, because I didn't really have PlayStation.
That's one of the classic franchises. You're definitely a little late to the party, but that's fine. Better late than never. Um, but yeah, and like there's really not much PS4. Like there's some good PS4 stuff coming out this year, like exclusives, but nothing really like groundbreakingly major. Like next year, like with The Last Guardian, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Uncharted 4, shit like that. 2016 will be a great year for PlayStation.
Why Until Dawn? Why? Why?
I don't know.
Apparently they have like a pre-order bonus chapter.
Oh yeah, yeah, I heard about that. I was like, oh, god damn it. So yeah, they're cutting out a level because you didn't fucking pre-order it.
I didn't actually realize that game was like an exclusive. I thought it was just going to be on everything.
Nope, that's a PS4 exclusive. That was
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it looks interesting, but I have my worries about it from what I've seen. So and that will definitely be one of those games that I'd like to stream just because it's a horror game, and I like streaming horror games. They're fun. They're probably the most,
share play that, see how that works out.
yeah, they're the most fun games to stream when it comes to stuff.
Well, yeah, because it gets people like pumped and they're all looking at it and everything like that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, that about wraps it up for our show today.
Yep.
Alrighty, cool. Anyway, like us on. Wait, we don't have Facebook. What the fuck am I about to say? Like us on YouTube.
You didn't make one, Adam.
No.
You didn't make one.
I know. Oh, and fuck you, Richard. Fuck you. Anyway, I'll explain to you about that later. Anyway, yeah.
Also, Imaginary Thomas needs to make the intro song that I talked about in the very beginning.
That'd be interesting. Like, if one of you guys out there actually wants to make us a song, that'd be interesting. I'd definitely be down to hear something like that. So anyway, yeah. Thank you for watching, and have a good day, guys. Take care.